Good morning and welcome class. In the last class we discussed about the goods and service tax GST. I hope it's clear to all. If there is any such doubts, anything that you wish to know, you are free to put up your questions. One more thing which I wanted to explain you all how practically GST works. Okay, but that's not a part of the syllabus. That is why I'm not making a video on it or not taking it on. When we have time after the completion of syllabus, if there is time, I'll explain you the practical aspect. How before the GST, prior to GST and after GST, what is the difference in the economy? Okay, why the government has come up with the GST? This why can only be answered when we understand the practical aspect of this. How an amount is saved by the individual and how the government is benefiting from this. This has to be understood if you want to understand the practical applicability of the taxation structure. Okay. Now today, so just a carry forward of the last class only. In the last class we discussed about the GST types and categories. Today we will discuss about the objectives of GST first. What are the objectives of GST? The first is to eliminate multiple taxes. I hope you remember that before the GST, a person had to pay different sorts of indirect taxes. Rather, there was 17 indirect taxes which were applicable in India. 17 types of indirect taxes were paid by an individual. But after the GST, it was clubbed into one head and that name was given as GST. So, the first point says to eliminate multiple taxes. The person has to pay off, but under one portal, and that portal is GST portal or GST forum. Okay. The second point says to reduce overall tax burden. Okay. Overall tax burden here means that a person has to pass on the money to different departments. Like for example, sales tax, custom duty, excise duty, import export, all these are VAT, value added tax. Okay, different departments will there. Now, if a person goes to different department to pay the taxes, he has to pay an expenditure for that. Okay, that reduces the income of the individual, or that reduces the growth of the individual, because at every level he has spent some amount. Okay, just to stop that, government came up with one scheme, that is GST. One more term before we come to the next topic is cascading effect. Cascading effect means a tax on tax. Tax on tax is called cascading effect. Means when multiple taxes are charged, it is called a cascading effect. Okay. Third one is to boost up the economic growth. Why did government come up with the GST part? Okay. The objective is to boost up the economic growth. Now the question is how? If a person does not visit the 17 units, that means he saves the amount. In order to go to the 17 department, he has to spend at every place, he has to spend something. Like for example, in Majesty Manjuli, let's say all 17 departments are here. Okay, if I am a payer, I have to go to 17 shops. Okay, if they are not nearby, not very close by, okay, every time I go there, I have to spend something. So that expenditure of mine is saved with one portal. I don't need to go anywhere, I don't need to go any shop, but rather one portal, that is called GST portal, wherein I can pay all the taxes. So that little amount of each individual, and when you multiply that amount with the population of the country, you will find that it becomes a huge amount. The huge amount is saved. That is what the aim of the government is. And the last is to improve the tax compliance. Tax compliance means the taxation system of the country. Okay. Earlier on, prior to GST, people had a sort of mindset that in order to pay a tax, he has to visit different departments. Okay. he has to look for the different officers, he has to please them, and then the work was done. Okay, so sometimes people choose a alternative option, that is to avoiding of tax or evasion of tax. Okay, so that had a negative effect on them. Just to simplify the process, just to make the process so easier that even a little literate person can understand the basics of tax payment and they can pay through one portal, that is GST. So we can understand or we can come to a conclusion that the government main aim was to simplify the procedure of payment. Okay, the government does not want to harass you, the government does not want to bully you, but rather it wants to simplify the process so that one portal can serve out different needs. At one place, at one venture, all your needs can be fulfilled. So you can say that GST is like a mall. GST is like a mall. What is a mall? Wherein you enter and you fulfill all your demands. Different shops are there. You have a shoe shop, you have a clothes shop, you have a jewelry shop, you have a ration shop. Everything is there in a mall. So if a person, whatever his demands are, whatever his needs are fulfilled under one umbrella, and that is mall. Same way, when we talk about the indirect taxes, when an indirect tax has to be paid by a person, if he chooses a GST portal, GST forum, all his tax behaviors or tax difficulties can be sorted out when he visits the GST forum. So this is about the objectives of the GST. One more topic is other kinds of taxes. Okay, there are 4 kinds of taxes which we need to talk about. The first is proportional tax. Under proportional tax, the rates of tax remain same. Rates of tax. ROT means rates of tax. Here ROT means rates of tax remains same. Rates of tax remain same. Now what does it mean? Rate of tax remains same means that no matter whether there is an increment in the income or decrement, whether the income of an individual increases or decreases, the rates of tax will remain same. That is why when you draw a diagram tree, you will find that when you represent this through diagram, you see that this column is y-axis is for rates of tax, and this is your tax base, or you can say income. Okay, tax base or income. Now under proportional taxation system, the rates remain constant throughout. There is no change because rate of tax remains the same. If 5% is charged throughout, no matter today your income is 1 lakh, tomorrow it may be 10 lakh, the rate will remain same, that is 5%. It is not going to vary. This rate will not vary. So that is called as proportional tax. Second is progressive tax. Progressive tax. Under this, when income increases, tax will increase. When income increases, tax will increase. That is called as progressive tax. Under this, when the income increases, the tax will increase. That is called a progressive taxation system. It's very simple only. The third is regressive tax. Third is regressive tax system, in which you need to understand it. The first point is it's opposite to progressive. Second is income inequality increases. Third is as income increases, tax will decrease, or the rate of tax will decrease. Okay, under regressive tax system, it's opposite to progressive tax system. It's just the opposite of progressive tax system. Under this, income inequality is seen. Income inequality is seen. Why? Because as your income increases, the tax rate decreases. As your income increases, the tax rate decreases. So that somewhere down the line promotes the income inequalities. Okay, and the graph will be somewhere similar only a downward arrow also. That means income increase, tax rate decrease. Okay, the last is deregression. Deregressive is mixture of proportional and progressive. Deregressive is a mixture of proportional and progressive. Second is rates increase up to certain level. And then uniform. Third is such type of tax is implemented in India. Okay, deregressive tax system is a mixture of proportional and progressive tax system. That means rates increase up to certain level. That is progressive. Okay, and then uniform. That is proportional. Rates increase up to certain level and then it becomes proportional. Such type of structure, such type of system is seen in the Indian economy. Means in India, if you talk about the taxation trends, in India we follow the taxation trends of deregressive system. Okay, it's up to certain level, there will be increment in the rate of tax, and then it becomes flat or uniform or constant. Whereas, no matter whether your income increases, okay, the tax rate will not increase. So that is what the system we follow in our country, that is in India. So this is, with this we come to the end of the chapter public revenue. If you have any doubts with regards to this, you can put up, and do prepare this with the help of the graph so that the things become easier when you try to practice. Okay, one more thing, the graph of deregressive system, how to solve the graph of deregressive system. See, say rate increase up to certain level. Let's say it starts and increases till here, and then uniform. From here onwards, you can turn this way. Turn this way. So we can call till here it was progressive, and from here on it's proportional. Okay, that is why it is called mixture of progressive and proportional. Both the features or both the types of tax effect can be seen over here. I hope the things are clear. If still you have any doubts, you are free to put up your queries. You can put up your doubts. Okay, in the next class, in the upcoming classes. Thank you, class.